Hey guys, I honestly did not think that I was going to be doing a video on this, but there's a few matches for tonight's TLCS. Yes, people, it's called TLCS, not TLC, TLCS. Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. I don't know why they added the S, and it was just flat out stupid, but hey, they did it. But either or, there are a few matches that's going to be happening on tonight's pay-per-view that has interested me, so I have decided to do a preview of my own personal predictions of tonight's TLCS. I can't believe I'm saying that, but either or, let's get started with the predictions for this pay-per-view. I am no longer going to repeat the name because it's just a freaking mouthful, but let's get started with my personal favorite, and I'm absolutely excited about this. Dean Ambrose versus Bray Wyatt in a tables, ladders, chairs match. This is like a classic match. These are two I guess these are two somewhat you have a psycho anti-hero versus a psycho heel. Honestly, I love the whole psychotic heel, and the psychotic anti-hero is a new character in itself, which makes me really interested in even watching this because I love me some Dean Ambrose. Dean Ambrose is a character that I have not seen in a long time. I love seeing this guy perform. I love seeing this guy actually do promos, and not to mention he can fight. And then you got Bray Wyatt. He's practically unhinged. He's one of the best psycho heels I have seen in a long time since Heidenreich. And yeah, Heidenreich for those that don't remember. But seriously, I love this feud, and I'm absolutely looking forward to these guys going at it in the match. This is going to be brutal. They're going to bring out all the stops. They're going to bring the serious pain. Who I believe that may win, honestly, is difficult to say. They've each had maybe one has kind of out-trumped the other. It's been back and forth. These guys are kind of evenly matched when it comes to performance in the ring. It's difficult to say exactly who is going to win here. My choice, I'm torn. I love both characters. I love Bray Wyatt as well as liking Dean Ambrose. But I don't want Dean Ambrose to win because I kind of want this feud to extend to the Rumble. Personally, I would love to see this go towards WrestleMania. This is definitely a WrestleMania style match, but with the rumors that is going around with Taker possibly coming back and him feuding with Wyatt, they may either cap it off tonight or cap it off at the Rumble. I want them to go further towards the Rumble. And if Bray Wyatt does win, that'll be great momentum going towards him versus Taker. I can't believe I said that, but I'm hoping that's not the case. But regardless, I'll do another video in that in itself. But let's move on, talk about this match. I really do feel that Bray Wyatt is going to possibly win this match if the whole thing about Taker is true. But if it ain't, it's going to be Dean. So either or, it's just kind of like this. So it could go either way. So I don't really necessarily have an overall winner here. But I will say if whatever happened with Taker is true, it's going to be Wyatt. If it's not true, it's going to be Dean. But moving on to the next match, I don't really care much about either one of these guys. Well, I do kind of care about Seth Rollins, but I don't care much about John Cena. And y'all have seen my video on that. But let's talk about John Cena versus Seth Rollins in a tables match. Cena finally gets his hands on Seth Rollins after what he did to him way back when he was fighting Brock. Blah, 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 blah. But besides all that, they actually finally have a stipulation for this. If John Cena loses, he loses his #1 contendership for him to actually face Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania. More than likely, it's going to be WrestleMania. If something happens to it's a huge factor here. That's what makes this difficult to actually predict this pay-per-view because of the whole thing about Taker. If Taker comes back, it could go either way. It could either go to Wyatt, him facing Wyatt as an opponent, or him facing or Brock facing Cena. It could be either Brock facing the Taker or Taker facing Wyatt. If Brock isn't facing Taker, which I really believe that just might happen, then more than likely Cena's going to win. But if that's not happening and Cena loses, it's going to be about Seth Rollins. But Seth Rollins really doesn't have anything to lose here. He's a freaking Money in the Bank champion. Well, he actually holds, he's not a champion, but he holds the briefcase. So either or, it could go either way. But in my opinion, I'm rooting for Seth Rollins. My vote goes to Seth Rollins for the win. Not so much because I don't care about Cena, because I just want something different. Well, I guess it's kind of both either way. But just to be fair, it's all about Seth Rollins and actually having somebody different win and having a different outcome, which may lead to another feud. So I'm really rooting for Seth Rollins for the win. Moving on to the next match is going to be Ryback versus Kane in a stairs match. Do I care about these guys? No. I used to love Kane, but Kane's been neutered. Do I care about Ryback? Kinda, but not a lot. I like the fact that Ryback is now an anti-hero. And that's what got him noticed in the first place, especially the whole Phoebe Moore gimmick. So actually have him go against Kane. We know that Kane is not going to win. Kane barely wins any matches that he's in. But he's been there, done that, got the t-shirt. He has nothing to prove. So even if Kane loses, it's going to make Ryback look good. So honestly, it's going to be Ryback for the win. I doubt that Kane's going to win. Kane's whole character has been neutered. He's corporate Kane now. But let's move on to the next match. This is actually for the tag team titles. You got the Usos versus Damien Mizdow and The Miz for the tag team titles, of course. Honestly, Mizdow is practically on a roll here. He's way over than The Miz, which is sad because The Miz can't get over to save his life. The only time he was able to get over was when he was a tag team partner with John Morrison way back when. And even with WrestleMania, him actually headlining it, it didn't really matter as much, but it mattered when he actually had Alex Riley at his side. So he has to have somebody at his side in order to go over, which is sad. No matter how much of a heel he tries to be, he still can't get over. But Mizdow is way over with his character. So honestly, if they don't have Mizdow win here and they have the Usos win, there's going to be a lot of pissed off people. So I really don't see the Usos winning this. Besides, the Usos are the most boring champions I have ever encountered in my life. It was a great moment for them when they actually won the titles for the first time before WrestleMania, even though it should have been at WrestleMania instead of Raw. That was a great moment for them because it was a great triumph for them to actually build their characters to get to where they are. But when they had them, good grief, it was so boring. But it's not their fault. They really didn't have a lot of people to go up against. They were just now building the tag team division, so they didn't really have a lot of people to actually compete with. But now they do, and when they actually started having more people coming in, they just had a really boring title reign. So, but Mizdow is way over. So I really do believe it's going to be Mizdow and The Miz winning here, with The Mizdow and The Miz possibly separating maybe at the next pay-per-view. But it's going to be them for the win. That's going to be my vote. Mizdow and The Miz for the win. So much for the Usos, and I'm happy. I'm really hoping they don't win because it was so freaking boring. But anyway, let's move on to the next match. This is the steel stairs match. This is why it's TLCS. Tables, ladders, chairs, and stairs. And this is the stair reason. This is Eric Rowan versus The Big Show in a steel stairs match. This is something that's completely new. This is something I have not seen before in a while. Well, actually, I've never really seen this match before. So it's completely new in itself. But the fact that they changed the name of it is just kind of stupid. But either or, you got two big giant guys going at it. We all know about Eric Rowan. Eric Rowan has a lot to prove because Luke Harper is way over, more so than Eric Rowan. And him going against The Big Show, with The Big Show being a heel, which is pretty much one of The Big Show's fortes. Do I believe that The Big Show's going to win? I don't know. I really don't know in this case. I really do think that Eric Rowan really does need to have the push. So I really think that Eric Rowan needs it more than The Big Show. The Big Show's a grand slammer. He really doesn't have anything else to prove. But Eric Rowan really does need this win. So my vote goes to Eric Rowan for the win. The next match that's going to be going on tonight is going to be, of course, the IC Championship with Luke Harper versus Dolph Ziggler. Dolph Ziggler happens to, Luke Harper is now the champion. Dolph Ziggler is actually going to come back and try to take the belt from him. Blah, 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 blah. But honestly, everybody likes to see Dolph Ziggler win. Everybody likes to see Dolph Ziggler with the championship. Everybody likes to see Dolph Ziggler triumph and go over everybody, which is great. But let's be real here. That guy is so over, it is ridiculous. He really doesn't need to do anything to have the crowd love him. But we need a lot more from Luke Harper. I'm going to be real. Luke Harper has a lot more potential. Not so much, I'm not going to say that Dolph Ziggler has none. Dolph Ziggler's already over, but his gimmick is just like this. His gimmick has not changed in a while. I don't know if he's a face or whether he's an anti-hero or whether he's a heel, because he still has the I steal your girlfriend, I steal the show type of gimmick. And if you're a face, you got to kind of change it up. Like, you can't have that whole I steal the show type of thing, because that's not a way the face should be. He's a baby face now. But with Luke Harper, he's a heel. And honestly, the IC belt needs a good heel champion. We haven't had a good heel champion since Wade Barrett that actually had that belt. Wade Barrett's a great heel champion. We need another heel champion. So my vote goes to Luke Harper for the win. The next match of the night is going to actually be, well, of course, Russia versus America. Good grief, you guys know how I feel about that, so I'm not really going to go into detail anymore. That Rusev versus Jack Swagger for the U.S. title. We all know that Rusev is now the U.S. holder, and you got Jack Swagger trying to take the belt from him. We know the whole thing. In the end, I am hoping that Jack Swagger wins, because I am tired of this whole Russia versus America gimmick. I want it to die a quick death. I want it to be over. I want it to be done. So my vote goes to Jack Swagger for the freaking win, so this dumb feud can be over and Rusev can be downgraded. Not really so much downgraded as in his push, but I just want this feud to die. Seriously, I want it to be dead and over. So my vote goes to Jack Swagger for the win. Now, let's talk about the Divas match. Before I go on to the kickoff match, let's talk about the Divas match. AJ Lee versus Nikki Bella for the Divas Championship. Nikki Bella has only had the belt for a while. The one thing I can say about this is that here's a huge game-changing factor for the match that may make it quick or may make it long. It could go either way, and that's the Black Widow. There's only been 2 chicks that's been able to break it, and that was Caitlyn and also Paige. They're the only 2 that has broken the Black Widow. Nobody else in the Divas roster has, including Nikki. I don't want Nikki to lose this belt. I want her to have the title as long as she can, because AJ Lee has had her run. She's had her run. She might be leaving soon. It's really no reason for her to have the belt anymore. Not to mention, she's not going to be on Total Divas. I would not be surprised because of the CM Punk podcast. But either or, she's probably going to be on her way out. And I want Nikki Bella to have a really healthy and decent title reign. And she actually has improved over the years. She's more strength than stealth, unlike her sister, who is all about stealth and all about being fast and quick pace, as well as knowing submission holds. Nikki is all about sheer strength, hence her boyfriend John Cena, which is all about sheer strength. She has improved she's gone a long way when it came to her performance. So she really does need to have a healthy title reign in order for her to get over. So my vote goes to Nikki Bella for the win. And I'm hoping that she actually does keep the title for a while and has a really great title reign, because I don't want to be AJ Lee. We need somebody new. Now let's go off to the kickoff. Good grief, I can't stand these guys. But they're here. There's nothing I can do about it. Whatever. The kickoff. New Day versus Golden Stardust. Yeah, I can't stand New Day. I can't stand their gimmick. It's stupid, it's stereotypical, and they pretty much are the polar opposite of what they wanted to be, because they are all about getting over. So of course they had this ridiculous gospel gimmick that I really want to go away so quickly, but they're here. There's nothing I can do about it. Whatever. You got Golden Stardust, one of my favorite heels ever, because honestly, this is the best move for Cody. Like, people are like, oh, Cody with the paint on his face. I'm not going to lie. This really does kind of improve Cody's character. Cody really doesn't have any place to go. The highest point, in my opinion, for Cody Rhodes was making a step up was when he was at Legacy. Then from there, his character was just kind of the same. Maybe the attitude has changed, but the packaging was still the same in a way. So this completely changes it up. Not to mention, he's doing it far better than Goldust, which is awesome. And Goldust is now the normal one. And either or, it's great. I love it. These guys are fun. And they're great heels. So I'm really rooting for Golden Stardust, because they're so fun. They're not boring. They're not lame. And they don't have a gimmick that doesn't work. Their gimmick works. It always has, in my opinion. So my vote goes to Golden Stardust for the win, to beat the ever-loving crap out of New Day. So guys, those are my predictions. This is my video. The preview, the actual review of the entire video, well, actually the review of the entire pay-per-view, in other words, is going to be tonight. right after I watch it. So you guys stay tuned to my review, and I will see y'all later. Peace out.